They couldn't even take a simple tabulation, and yet they're telling you how to run the country and how to run health care. I think they fried their votes on computer. Think of it, all the money that the Democrats spent, and the votes are fried. They have no idea who won. They have no idea.
But we do have this result from the Iowa caucuses. It's a T-shirt that reads, "This shirt was designed and printed faster than the caucus results were released." I don't mean to indicate we have any actual results, mind you. In fact, we have not declared a winner. And at some point, we do have to move on. The calendar insists upon it. We are 4 days away from New Hampshire, for starters. It's off to the races from there. No one around here feels that more than our national political correspondent, Steve Kornacki, standing by at the big board with the next states up in the hopper.
Yeah, Brian, and we got brand new numbers here from NBC News, our NBC Marist poll of New Hampshire. And you mentioned we may not have an official result in Iowa tonight. We may not have one we're totally confident in ever. But what happened in Iowa, or at least what seems to have happened, what people perceived as happening, does seem to be affecting New Hampshire right now. Here's the poll out just a couple of hours ago. You see Sanders continues to lead here. Buttigieg seems to have gotten a benefit from Iowa, however, in second place, only a couple of points behind Bernie Sanders. And one of the reasons that Buttigieg seems to be benefiting here, you can see down in fourth place, Joe Biden seems to be slipping here. You know, there's been other polls that have shown him at or near the top in New Hampshire. Now the polls suggest he is sliding to either a distant third or a fourth place. You see him 13% here. And one of the things in the polls that are out there right now that you're seeing is that Biden base, what had been that Biden base, a chunk of it does seem to be moving towards Buttigieg, particularly older voters, particularly 65 plus. You also see Klobuchar, Steyer, Yang, Gabbard rounding this out. In fact, when I mentioned age there, you can show the breakdown in New Hampshire again. Saw this in Iowa, seeing it again in New Hampshire here, under 45 years old. It is Sanders, the runaway leader. Warren in second. You see Buttigieg there, basically 2-1 behind Sanders. And then you flip it around, and this is the change. Buttigieg now leading 45 plus, Sanders actually getting 18%. Biden typically, when we've shown this category in New Hampshire and nationally, Biden has typically been leading this category over 45. This is the switch from what we're used to seeing. That's the Buttigieg surge right there. And of course, it does raise the question, can he pass Bernie Sanders? This is Gary Hart in 1984 all over again, where you get that head of steam in Iowa, you roll it into New Hampshire, and suddenly you got something going. We will see. Or is Sanders able to hold him off, or is somebody else able to get hot here in the final few days? Of course, you mentioned after New Hampshire, what's going to happen? We're going to go to Nevada. And one thing that happens after New Hampshire is the electorates in these Democratic contests, they get more diverse. In Nevada, you'll have a double-digit share of voters who are African-American. You'll have a fair number of voters who are Hispanic. This is a poll here from early January, but you can see Joe Biden led then. Sanders was right behind him. Warren, Buttigieg. Obviously, you want to see in the next poll, has that Biden number come down based on what we're now seeing? Is that Buttigieg number moving up? And Sanders, keep in mind, when we have polled Hispanic voters nationally, Bernie Sanders has been leading. So there could be an opportunity there for him in Nevada. And of course, this is the one it's all building towards at the end of February. South Carolina, this has been talked about as Joe Biden's firewall. There was this poll from the Post and Courier in South Carolina this week that got some attention. Biden's still leading, but wow. I mean, we've seen polls putting him 20, 30 points up in South Carolina. This one has him only 5 points ahead of Bernie Sanders. Is that an outlier poll? Is that the sign of a trend? Is that what's going to keep happening if Biden isn't winning in these early states or even coming that close to winning? That is a poll there that got a lot of attention, Brian. And I think for the Biden campaign, they talk about South Carolina as their firewall. They can't be seeing that.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.